Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sports Today. My name is Ridhima Pathak. And I wish I could think of an adjective to define today, an adjective that has still not crossed your mind. I really wish I could lay down an emotion that you still haven't felt. But actually, I'm none of that. I'm pretty sure you're feeling just exactly what I'm feeling. I'm just privileged to have gotten this particular platform to lay it down. So I'm just going to request all our viewers to join the party. And also, join the party is Irfan Khan. Please take a look at what he has to say.
क्या आप भी किसी अपने सपने मेरे तुम्हारे टीम 11 पे टीम बना रहे हो और बच्चों के साथ खेल रहे हो? हमारे साथ खेलोगे? हाउस पे खेलो लेजेंड्स के साथ, हमें हराओ और जीतो डबल कैश. Log on to houseit.com and win real cash.
Well, Irfan Pathan is there with a special message. You need to download the app and, of course, make your team and win big. And with that, join the party. I just want to ask all my seniors on Sports Today, gentlemen, where is the party? I've got Deepdas Gupta, Rajashri Gupta, I've got Pragyan Oja. Good afternoon, gentlemen. I'm a little stammering. I'm a little nervous. I don't know why I'm still nervous. India's already won it, but I am very, very very thrilled, excited. I don't know how to contain this feeling. Please tell me how you guys feeling. I'll start with you, Deep sir.
You were looking for an adjective. I'll tell you what the adjective. I'd say life. And I mean, this is what it is. I mean, what a great inspirational story this is. The whole series, this test match, plus the whole series. They say life gives you a lemon, and what you do with it, you make a lemonade out of it and enjoy it. And that's exactly what it is. India, against all the adversities, injuries, non-availability, 36 all out, racism off the field, whatever it was. God, this is just unbelievable. I mean, I've got goosebumps, man. I mean, even individually, Rishabh Pant, Shubman Gill, should he be there? Should Rishabh play? Not play? I mean, come on, each one of them. I think, they went there as youngsters, and they're going to come out of this series only 4 test matches, right? And a few T20Is and ODIs, but the whole group, the whole lot, will come out of this as an experienced players. I mean, not just I'm not just talking about the game itself. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, this sport, this is just more than a sport. I mean, life lessons, man, life lessons.
Pragyan, you'd given this team a 50-50 chance yesterday. And inexperience in GABA, India B team against Australia A team, and we win this one. What a day for India.
I think I was more practical. I gave 50-50. I think Deepbai gave 15%.
I actually did. I did, yeah.
So this is brilliant. Yes, Deepbai said, the way this Indian team played, it was brilliant. But let's talk about Australia now. What about their pride, ego, and the captaincy? Now they have to answer the questions. They were playing with the A side. Now they don't have the reason of Smith and Warner missing. Now they cannot say that whatever happened, they didn't know, or what was happening, it was not in their control. They were playing at home. They were playing on their home soil. They were playing with the best possible 11 they could. Everything was against the Indian side. India lost the first test match with that 36 all out, and everybody went bizarre about Indian team 36 all out. This is the worst. But look at the way these guys have come back. Look at the way Ajinkya Rahane has handled the team. When you lose your main captain, the regular captain, because of some other commitment, he had to come back. The way he handled it, the way Ravi Bhai handled it, the way the entire management, they took care of the team and everybody stuck to each other. That is what we should learn. As Harsha Bhogle said, he said, this is life lesson. When you're seeing test cricket, if you don't enjoy test cricket, you're not enjoying life. That's how it is. Test cricket is something which teaches you a lot. And this Indian team had made sure ever we talk about test cricket, this match will be spoken about, because of all these young boys with very less experience came out and made sure that this series becomes this series will be written in golden words.
No, absolutely. And I saw your tweet, Deep sir, and I think you could have summed it better in Aristotle's words. Having said that, Rajashri, as a journalist, the fall, the comeback, the resilience, the injuries, the debutants, the GABA. What is the story going on in your head?
It's the craziest cricket story ever. I was just on the group. We were talking about this test match, and I would say this is the greatest test match of my professional career. I would put the 2001 Eden Gardens test match aside for several reasons, but let us celebrate this specifically and separately. When India came into bat in the last session, what we needed 145 to win. In Australia needed 7. And I was telling my teams on the website that it looks like a draw. Even if India lose from here, still a heroic effort. But elite athletes and cricketers of this stature, they're such warriors, right? They have this tendency to prove us wrong time and again. This is heroic, Ridhima, like you pointed out, 36 all out from there to win at MCG, draw, hold on to a heroic draw at SCG, and win this from nowhere. This is the stuff legends are made of. And you talk of Shubman Gill, Rishabh Pant, Siraj, Thakur, Washington Sundar. This series has thrown up stories one after the other. Stories of human endurance and perseverance. There is no other way to put this. You said India B team. I would say that, look at this bowling attack. I don't think it would have featured in the second or third string for an Indian team. Washington Sundar, Shardul Thakur haven't played. I don't know whether they have played any matches for India A, long format matches. And here they come and just win you a game. This is incredible, incredible.
Well, our comment section, I have to tell you, is resonating with all of us, especially the words that you just used, Rajashri. Fortress are meant to be breached is one of the comments by Shrikant, and many more such comments. But having said that, these are for you. When did this particular match from a draw become a win? You're on mute. Mute. These are you're on mute. Mute.
Yeah, sorry. I actually was talking to a friend of mine while the second session was on, and I said, if it comes down to 100 of 2022, and at that point in time, Cheteshwar was still batting. It was Rishabh and Cheteshwar at that point in time. I still thought, 20 or 22 overs and 100 odd runs, and it actually came down to that 21 over 104 runs that was required. At that point, I was like, Rishabh there and Mayank to follow. I think game is on. But as we discussed yesterday as well, you take one step at a time. The first session went as planned, only one wicket, I think was 89 or something for one after first session. Second session, again, you didn't lose too many wickets. You had wickets in hand, right? And what happened was, and Rishabh came out and batted the way he did. And also not that, Ajinkya's small little knock, I think 22 of 29. I think the intentions were very clear, and that put Australia on the back foot, because that showed Australia that India is here to win the game, not draw the game. Right. So if you look at the field placements, that were very defensive from Tim Payne. Even though when someone like Rishabh just walked into bat, it was like, fielders behind, long on, long off, and everything else. So I think this was planned and went according to script as India wanted, but you've got to have the heart to actually write a script like that.
It really is, and that's the beauty of this particular test. We've got a question for you, Pragyan, actually. We've got Yash asking you, do you feel this is India's biggest test overseas series victory? And I think I will ask...
Without a doubt. Look at the scenario. It's not the A team that was playing. You look at Indian cricket history, if you see, most of these guys are like, they're trying to get into the team, most of them. And then going to Australia, and with all that has happened, Australia leading the series by 1-0, to coming back and India winning this the way they have done it, I think this is one of the greatest.
It is one of the greatest. For you, Rajashri, one of the greatest?
Absolutely.
Or the greatest?
Absolutely. I would say one of the greatest, because, you have to go back to the 1970s when India started winning overseas, and the statement that we started making outside of India. But in recent memory, undoubtedly, Ridhima, because of the sheer circumstances, your captain goes home. Obviously, that was decided, but you lose your captain, you lose Mohammad Shami. Ishant Sharma not available, Rohit Sharma not there for the first 2 test matches. You miss Bumrah and Ashwin for the last one, including Ravindra Jadeja. There's like 7 or 8 of your top stars gone, right? And who would have given us that chance? Just for that fortitude and just for that endurance. It's incredible. It's got to rank up right up with one of the greatest test victories of all time. You know, if you if I extend this a little bit, not just for India. I mean, if you look at test cricket, context of test cricket, imagine going to Australia, beating Australia back-to-back test series. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. And you cannot ever underestimate any Australian team. So not just from the Indian perspective, but from the history of test cricket, you know, that perspective, I think it's one of the greatest ever.
Yeah. Let's put the spotlight on our players. Let's talk about them a little more detail, and let's start with Pujara. Deep, so you already mentioned him. Slowest 50 in 196 balls. But can you just put in these numbers for me into perspective, the importance of this particular 50 in today's test match?
So you know what? For every Rishabh Pant, you need a Pujara, right? So for Rishabh Pant to go after the bowling, you needed that stability in those middle overs, making sure you don't lose wickets there. And we've mentioned this, that India did, one of the reasons India went on to win it is because they did not lose wickets. So you need that resilience or that kind of batting from Pujara. But also very important thing, it's not that I know it was the slowest, but if you look at it, he was actually running faster. He was looking for the gaps. Every time there was he would defend the ball, he would call out loud and say no. So the intent was always there to, even when he was defending, whether just to look up and see if there's a single available or not. And all those blows that he took, I mean, God, man, was thumb, chest, helmet, just name it. I mean, fingers. That was just absolutely brilliant. As I mentioned before, as I mentioned yesterday, listen, for Rishabh to be successful, or a Shubman Gill to be successful, or a Rohit Sharma to be successful, you need innings like Pujara, you need batsmen like Pujara to be there.
Exactly. I thought that was like a film in the making. Bruised, battered, tired, still there fighting. But having said that, this is Pujara's numbers. Let's come to Rishabh Pant's numbers, Pragyan. Reaches 1,000 test runs, beats Dhoni's record, the fastest Indian to do so. What does it mean for him?
So that's what I was saying. If you have a Rishabh Pant, my first thing was, in first test match, I said, if you're backing Rishabh Pant, back him. Make him play all the test match. Why create that confusion? So, and now, let me get back. Everybody was saying, Rishabh Pant overseas, Riddhiman Shah in India. Now, please tell me, we are playing England in India. So what is it? Who's going to keep now? So that is what process. So once you're backing someone, please back him. And you know this guy can do wonders. So you back him. Let him take his time. He will succeed. And look at the way he's won you this game. Now, can anybody tell me, will they do that? Will they take a Riddhiman Shah and play him in England? Against England in India?
I think it's a question for the panel. Deep sir, or Rajesh, whoever wants to take that question, it's a good question for the panel.
Look, Rishabh Pant has, he settled that discussion, because I know, MSK Prasad, the former chief selector, came on our show and said, this is what the plan was, to have Rishabh for overseas, Riddhiman for home test matches. But I think he settled that debate once and for all with those 2 knocks, 97 and this knock here. They want to save one game for your country, then you win one for your country. In fact, the way Rishabh was going, had he been around for another 40-50 deliveries, who knows, India might have taken the series 3-1. So undoubtedly, Rishabh Pant, whether or not you want to persist with him also as a wicketkeeper batsman, a batsman wicketkeeper, that is something for the team management to look at. But Rishabh Pant has settled every debate about playing in the 11. Ridhwa, with your permission, also I just would like to quickly update you with a couple of news points coming in from the Gabba. Something nice has happened. The Indian team has presented a signed jersey to Nathan Lyon for completing 100 test matches. BCCI has just announced a cash bonus of 5 crore for the Indian team. The nice gesture for this special victory. India have replaced Australia's number 2 in the ICC Test rankings, and they have now moved to number 1 in the World Test Championship rankings, which is phenomenal. Nobody would have actually thought that might happen, given what was the scenario yesterday. And Australian captain Tim Paine has been booed during the presentation at the Gabba. Not great from a cricket perspective, but it is what it is after everything that happened across Sydney and Melbourne. So this is the irony.
He has started with Boria already.
But we've got Boria with some certain swag that he's entered sports today. He's got a certain swag today. Boria, can you hear us?
Hago.
Boria entered with a Viv Richard swag. With a Viv
He's
Richard
like,
swag.
এটা কিন্তু ইতিহাস হয়ে গেল, এটা অ্যাবসলিউট ইতিহাস হয়ে গেল। কালকে তোমার কাছে এসে তোমাকে আমি 5 মিনিট ইন্টারভিউ করবই, তুমি না
Who is he
বলতে পারো।
talking to?
Boria, you're a
তুমি একটা কিছু একটা আমায় বলো, একটা আমায় আজকে তোমায় বলতেই হবে।
Anyways, what?
Is it-
Jesus.
Boria,
Sorry.
can you hear
Okay.
us?
Let's. I think. Yeah. Just quickly going back to that Rishabh
Definitely,
point.
definitely.
Listen.
No, definitely.
What I honestly feel is that consistency is the key, and I think we've mentioned this before. Whatever you want to do, just be consistent with it. And I think there are a couple of things. I hope that this Rishabh with this innings, and also the last one, the 97, was equally important, has turned a corner, right? Turned a corner. Rishabh Pant, as we know him or as we expect of him, has turned the corner here. And also, very important thing, because I was hearing a few people, I was reading a few places. Please encourage him to stay the batsman wicketkeeper that he is, not to encourage him. And I've said this before. I just want to reiterate. Yes, he can play as a batsman, but don't kind of encourage him to do that more often. Don't encourage him to just leave keeping and just think about it as a batsman. Just keep going the way he is right now.
Yeah, because Deep, so we were talking about his wicket-keeping skills yesterday. Today we're going to be talking about his batting skills. Having said that, the comms kept calling him the game changer. But was this particular game changer for his career? There's a question here by Shubman Kadam saying, "Hello, sir. I think this should be the turnaround for Rishabh Pant into a much more dependable player than before. A legend in the making." Shubman Gill as well. Deep, sir?
Listen, Shubman Gill, Rishabh Pant are your game changers, are your future. The thing is, are they going to, are you going to be consistent with them, which they should be? Because, listen, Shubman Gill, I haven't said this, but we've seen him. We've seen him under 19 onwards, first class. You see the difference. You see that this kid is different. He's all classy and everything. So he's got everything. He ticks all the boxes. So it's just a matter of time. He was going to turn this, get his first 100. Unfortunately, he should have got it today, but it's just a matter of time, and he's going to get a few of them. Trust me on that. And this is, in you also, from this series, you got a sneak preview of the future Indian team as well. The Indian team which maybe it's not in transition, maybe in transition, or the team which you might see 5 years from now, 4 years from now, the nucleus of the Indian team 5 years from now. I think you've just got a sneak preview of that as well in this series.
Right. Now, Pragyan, I'm going to ask, okay, we've got Boria again joining us. Again, he's entered with that swag. Boria, how have you been? Are you okay?
Sorry. So I was about to speak when Saurav called. So one had to take the call. We had a 5-minute chat, dissected the thing. What do you do? The big boss of Indian cricket calls, going absolute nuts and celebrating. So you've got to take that call. This is the moment. This is the moment. And I was, by the way, backstage hearing Pragyan, hearing Deep, hearing Rajarshi, hearing you. How do you describe this? How do you actually describe this? And it allowed me to sort of get some composure back. Otherwise, I would just continuously give you some adjectives and go mad. Perhaps it's allowed me to sort of get my composure back. And I was thinking from 1932, I think this is the greatest test win and the greatest series win, period. No competition, nothing. Think of 1971, think of 1983, and in the history of Indian cricket, including white ball. Because if you really go test series win, 71 England, 71, maybe that England Oval, that can come in. After that, nothing comes. 1976 West Indies, not the best West Indies, 406 for 4. After that, Clive Lloyd got his pace battery. 1986 England, nothing compares. We had a reasonably good side. 1990s, Saurav's team, 2002 Headingley, We had a very good side. Think of that batting lineup. 2003, we had our top batting lineup. Australia was in full strength. 2007, England, great series, but we had our best team. 2008, Perth, again, Australia, India, evenly matched. 2018, Australia did not have Smith and Warner. So they were depleted. In this one, you didn't have 8 first team players. No debate. This is the best ever win and the best ever series win between 1932 and 2020. I don't think anything comes close. And this is not hyperbole. This is not exaggeration. This is complete objective historical thinking or mapping the history of Indian cricket over the last 90 odd years. I don't think this gets replicated. Yes, Ravi Shastri will have to write another introduction to that book saying, yes, my own team does better and stuff like that. But for me, this is a new India speaking out. And you know what? Remember, I told you guys this when I asked Ajinkya Rahane, so who plays now? No Bumrah, no one. And he says, Boryada, whoever turns up for India will turn up for India. So don't worry about it. Man, oh man. This is something with vaccination, with this win, 2021 has given this country, after 12 months of drudgery, of tragedy, of despair, of complete hopelessness, a ray of hope. And maybe this year will be a far better year. If this Indian team can do this in Australia, if our scientists can do what they've done, each one of us can be resilient over the next few months. And believe me, we have a world to look after.
Absolutely. 2021 promised to be a better world, and it indeed is turning out to be. Having said that, I have one question before I move ahead to our experts, Buraga. In the group, we were sharing stats, and you went like, let's not speak too soon. At what juncture did you think we've got this?
The Washington Sundar 6 and the 4. That's when I finally thought it's done, finished, because Australia gave up. I mean, the shoulders dropped. And even when they got Washington Sundar, no one celebrated. Even when they got Shardul Thakur, no one celebrated. I thought it was game done, match over. Before that, there was still that. Because see, after Shardul, Saini, Natarajan and Siraj, with due respect, they can be out in 1 over against a new ball with Pat Cummins and Josh Hazelwood. So it would take them. And that's why Josh Hazelwood was doing what he was doing. He was bowling leg stump. That one ball that he bowled to Pant, which could have been wided in a T20 format, wasn't a wide in Test cricket. It was the right line, because he could have avoided Rishabh Pant being on strike and given the crack to Pat Cummins to come at Saini and the 2 others. That was the Australian plan, which went haywire with that one ball, and Pant closed it. So it went down to the wire. And this is, look, we keep talking about dreams. This is real, not real. This is the stuff of legend. This is miracles do happen. This is why sport is sport. This is why it's about aspiration, about inspiration, about motivation. Because 11 motley men who perhaps will not play Test cricket for India again. I don't think Natarajan, Shardul Thakur, Washington Sundar will together play Test cricket for India. I don't know how many years. Once your main boys are back, the top guys, as Pragyan keeps mentioning, and rightly so, are process. Once they come back. But that one Test match which they've played, each of them, will be a tale for their grandchildren, for each one of us who have been part of this. We saw history being made. Each one of us are part of that history.
Wow, couldn't have put it better. But I have a feeling that Pragyan would love to talk about this next question I want to ask. 23 minutes we've been speaking about India. Pragyan mentioned Australia. Australia for you, Pragyan, what could they have done better?
I think they could have done everything. They had the best side. They had the best bowling attack. They had the best batting attack that they could put them on the field. They did their best. But I think it was India which played much better cricket than them. And remember what I told you after the first match that we lost. If you look at the sessions, it was only one bad session that went horribly wrong against us. But if you look at all other Test matches that has been decided, you will see the sessions that India has won or the Australians have won. You will see there is a huge difference between them. So that says what kind of cricket India was playing and what kind of cricket Australia were playing. I think they have to go back and sit and think about what they have to do, because that is their best side. And had it gone against India, India would have said, boss, we gave our best, we tried our best, but this is not our A team. This is our younger team. But what will Australia say? They have to face it, and they have to make sure that they play good cricket. Because now they lost this series, they also have to be worried about the Test Championship, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, yes, and we're going to talk about that because Deepsa threw some light on the World Test Championship. Of course, Rajshri gave us the numbers, but Rajshri, that's
One
a good
quick point.
question. Yes.
One quick point. One quick point. For God's sake, all of us here, and we've never said it. Anyone who's listening to this broadcast, please don't call this the India A team, the India B team, the India C team, the India D team. This is the Indian team. Each boy who's playing there has gone there because of merit, huh? Not because somebody else got injured, so he has been taken and put there. So by saying this is the India B team, the India C team, the India D team, we are actually denigrating these boys. Yes, they are the Indian team. They deserve to be there. To get that test match jersey, which our two friends have, Pragyan Ojha and Deep Dasgupta, you've got to be supremely talented. You've got to be 1 in a billion, and these boys are. So they are not the India B team, the India C team, the India D team. They are the Indian team. And anyone, please correct them. If you are hearing this broadcast, anyone say this, oh, we've beaten them in the India B team. No, boss. You've beaten them with the Indian team. Show respect, because that's the least you can do.
I cannot agree with you, Mosa.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes. Boryada, when you are explaining it to the viewers,
I get it. I get it. No,
you
no,
say,
I didn't say to
yes.
you.
So it is
Because I
not like we
absolutely
are
know where
trying to
you're coming from.
degrade the team. Yeah, we are not trying to degrade the team. We are saying that this is not the side which was picked. A Sundar or a Natarajan, where they were there to give those practice to our boys in the training session because of the bio bubble. So they were not part of it. So how do you explain it? You say that the younger guys who were not there. It is not like we are trying to
See,
say
that is the way to
it is the
explain
India
it.
A side which is going.
What you just said is the perfect way to explain it. But if you see social media, if you see television broadcast, you will see India B, India D, India E. No, no, no. For God's sake, calm down.
All right, so Rajashri, Pragyan asked a very nice question. What will Australia now say? And they have a lot to say always. What is the headlines that is going to be in Australia tomorrow?
Deep introspection, deep introspection. Michael Clark, Ricky Ponting, Michael Vaughan from England, 4-0. And then, they said, well, told, yeah, India would be hammered after 36. What did Australia do? We all know what India have done. We've discussed that. What did Australia do after 36 all out for Indian athlete? Ajinkya Rahane and Ravindra Jadeja started developing a partnership. They started fight back. Australia got nervous and they let it run away with it. They completely lost control. They had 130, 133 overs in Sydney to bowl India out. They lost control of the game. They let Ravi Ashwin and Hanuma Vihari, they were these two were just too heroic for them to, for the Aussies to come back. What happens in Gabba? Tim Paine told Ashwin, he almost said that Gabba mein dekh lenge. What happened there? India going without Jasprit Bumrah, Ravindra Jadeja, R. Ashwin, three new boys come in, and then they smashed the Aussies in their own fortress. They haven't lost. Australia hadn't lost a test match since 1988 at the Gabba. We never won, so this was the highest successful run chase at the Gabba, the third highest run chase for Indian Test cricket history. They absolutely lost the plot. They first talked a lot on the field. They tried some course correction, but by then the momentum had been lost, and India were way too good. They kept their focus. Boria said on one of his 5 at 5, the Indian team does not want to talk. They just want to, having spoken to the Indian team, he said the Indian team just wants to go out there, play and win and show the Aussies who are the bosses in their own day. So that's what they exactly did. Australia have a lot to question and a lot of perspectives to put together, Ridhima.
Indeed, they have. And
Rajashrida, what about the captaincy? What about the captaincy? Yes.
Yeah,
we must question this. We
absolutely.
must. Because the way he was doing, the way he was handling Ashwin and all that test match, they lost because of that. Had he taken those catches or stumping, whatever it is, it would have been a different game. Yeah. And if you look at this game, again the same thing. Rishabh Pant, he stepped out, he missed it. And the way he was handling his boys, what about his captaincy? He must be questioned.
No, absolutely.
All talk and bluster from the Australia. They've been exposed. In fact, Deep could take that as well, right? I mean, is he even a good enough wicketkeeper, Deep, to be in that to be considered a first choice wicketkeeper for Australia? Tim Paine, from what he's done across the series, forget about his captaincy, but is he even going to be there as a first choice wicketkeeper if Australia have a chance?
Okay, I mean, listen, this is not about Australia, first of all. I think, we spend too much time thinking about the opposition. It's about India and how well Indians played. yes, Australia, they have to introspect and all that. Tim Paine, I think, is a very good wicket keeper. Unfortunately, he's had a bad series. He's just had a bad series. This might end up being his last series as a captain. Could well be pushed for his own place by Alex Carey, who's doing really well, both with the gloves and bat. Again, Alex Carey, again, is a very good keeper. But Tim Paine, yes, I mean, he's a good keeper. I'm just going to leave it at that. Not going to worry too much about Australia and Tim Paine and everything else, because I think credit to India. Australia did well. I think end of the day, if you just go back to the number of missed opportunities, whether it's Tim Paine or whoever it is, Sean Abbott or whoever, I think missed opportunities costed Australia. And one more thing, I don't know whether you guys remember or not. On day one, on first test match, I asked, is this an Australian like going at 2 runs and over, batting at 2 runs and over? And
Yes, you did.
That's been my kind of opinion right through this series. The whole performance, even though there is a very, very good side, let's not forget Australia is a very good side. That's the reason we put this, as Boria mentioned, one of the best test series win ever, because how good the Australian side is. So let's not forget that. But my point is this: did Australia play the Australian way this series? I don't think so. And they were defensive, and it also showed today. Today, when India still needed around 200, 150, 60 runs, they had a defensive field. They had a second new ball to come. Even with the second new ball, the field wasn't very attacking. Nathan Lyon comes out to bowl to Rishabh Pant, who just walks into the crease or onto the field with a long on and long off. He starts with a long on and long off. So, for me, what Australia needs to look into more than the personnel is whether the mindset or whether the approach was right or not.
Nice. That's just really well put. Deep sir, before we go ahead, we've got a question for you, which I don't know why it's directed especially to you, but it is a question for you. It says, why did you find the same umpire who gave that 230 km/h bouncer yesterday?
Because I tweeted that. I mean, we spoke about this. This was ridiculous. Yesterday, Shardul Thakur was spoken to by the umpire for intimidating bowling, and today Cummins, Hazelwood were bouncing, the heck out of the Indian batsmen, especially Pujara, and that was an intimidating bowling. So, I mean, I'm not saying the umpire should have to the Australian bowlers, but I found it really ridiculous that the umpire did to the Indian bowlers. So, yeah, I mean, that's just a tweet like that. It does not make sense. I mean, you already have 2 bounces in an over rule, and if the bowlers are sticking by it, then where does this whole question come from?
Actually, Boris, you didn't join us on the broadcast yesterday. So, what did you think of that call? And where was that call done today? Yeah, please.
If you remember, I had made this point on our show earlier when in the tour game, and I said, give it to them. And I was told, look, this is a ruthless sport played by gladiators for the world's greatest prize. Okay. And the umpire has a job to do. What is the umpire's job? Call a decision. He's no moral police. He's not Pat Cummins' granddad. Okay. That, come and protect Pat Cummins. He's not his granddad. Pat Cummins doesn't need protection. And what Shardul Thakur should have done is just tell that umpire, is this part of your rule book? If not, shut up and get lost. Simple. Because you can talk back to the umpire also very politely and say, is this part of your rule book? What I am doing is following the rules of the game. Are you? Maybe not. You are out of line. So just shut up. Because this is, and by the way, I do not condone Australian tactics. I think they're very much within their right to try and do everything possible within the rules of the game to try and win. India is better than them, and we've proved that. So if the Indian boys did that, and I've said it on our show too many times, give it to them, give it to them, give it to them, because they have always done it, and rightly, to Natarajan. Yesterday I tweeted Ridhima, declare, because they're going for the body, and it's fair because they were not even bowling full balls to Siraj to try and get a wicket and bouncing. So come on, for God's sake, Mr. Umpire, you are way out of line. You are not anyone's granddad and moral police that you will come and say this. You are clearly violating the rules of the game, so you need to be pulled up as well.
Yep. Okay. All right. With that, moving on, we got another question for you, Pragyan. Arun Nair is asking, Pat Cummins is great. Whenever he came to bowl, our heart was in our mouth and he delivered every single time. How would you judge Pat Cummins versus Hazelwood is his question.
I think that's the reason he's the best bowler in the world. Every time he was given the ball, he delivered it for his team. He got those wickets, crucial wickets. And if you compare these two guys, I think they were like both were good. Both were good. Both were getting wickets. But if you look at the impact that Pat Cummins had, because every time the ball was given to him, he used to get you those wickets. You used to look at that with the semi-new ball or with the new ball. Every time it was Pat Cummins. So I think he was looking more dangerous. If you talk of, if you compare him with Hazelwood, I think Pat Cummins was better, and that's the reason he was looking more dangerous because he was getting those set batsmen out.
Yeah, Pat Cummins. That's absolutely true. Every time he came to bowl, it was like another wicket down, and that was becoming the case somewhere. Rajashri, we got one question for you, which says we couldn't see. Okay, this is the same umpire's question, surely. So Ashwin will surely be disappointed seeing Payne's career on the rocks even before his next tour to India.
I think he just tweeted.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Ashwin just tweeted. Ashwin just tweeted, thanks for the hospitality. He just tweeted.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I said Ashwin just tweeted, thanks for the hospitality, and he just tagged Tim Penn. Or something he just tweeted. Yes, he did.
No,
he did.
I think Ashwin would like to extend the same hospitality to Tim Payne and company when they come to India. I remember it's not going to be easy.
But my question is, will he come? My question is, will he come?
Maybe as a wicketkeeper, maybe as backup wicketkeeper or wicketkeeper, but I don't know whether it's going to be captain of Australia. It's going to be difficult. I don't know. I mean, what's going to happen? The South Africa tour, for that matter, the World Test Championship at stake. We don't know what's going to happen to Australia's tour of South Africa. England are coming to India almost certainly. They are in Sri Lanka. We've shown with the IPL, even though it was in the Middle East, BCCI did a fantastic job of creating those bio bubbles where players did not complain, no strict quarantine, and BCCI did a commendable job. They set an example of how to play a long-drawn cricket tournament, unlike the ridiculous strict quarantine in Brisbane, and India defied all of that to win the series. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I hope Tim Payne comes back, whether as captain, as wicketkeeper, batsman, whatever it is. It'll be an interesting tussle. But more importantly, the fact that Australia, again, we've been talking about all talk, all bluster. With your permission, I just want to ask Pragyan where Nathan Lyon went wrong. He'd be seriously disappointed. Pragyan on a pitch like this with a spin and bounce, expected to run through the Indian team with 3 or 4 wickets. India played him well, but where exactly did he go wrong? He missed the bus today, Nathan Lyon, did he?
Yes, I'll tell you. I was thinking about him. If you look at the field placement, that was the difference. Deepbhai just said, they were feeling the pressure. Because of the pressure, Tim Penn was planning either to go defensive or attack. That's the reason those catching fielders, they were like in and out. That's where they went wrong. Because when he was bowling, he was brilliant. The wicket was helping him. Even the fast bowlers, there was one delivery which Rishabh Pant initially played, which took the outer edge, but it was in the gap. But normally, if it was a normal day, without a Pant got a boundary. So that's the reason we are talking about Tim Penn. The captaincy was bad. It was not Nathan Lyon's bowling. He was bowling well. He was asking the right question, but the field placement was not there. When Rishabh Pant walked in, if you see there is a longer and long off, as a batsman, you will always be you'll have that confidence. Yeah.
But Pragyan, this is the question. For somebody who's playing his 100th test match, should he not go up to the captain and say, listen, I don't want a long on and long off? I mean, he's playing his 100th test match, right? He's 2 wickets short of 400 wickets. So how much of that onus is on him as well?
Yes, he can go and tell. Definitely he can go and tell. But if they have a plan, if the captain and the coach and the bowler, they have decided this is what we are going to do, we are not going to give him a boundary. Then that was the plan. Okay, if you have longer and long off, that is not a bigger issue. The bigger issue is your catching fielders were also not there. You should attack. The way he was bowling, he should have had those fielders. Why Ashwin succeeded? He succeeded because he was having those close-in fielders always, even though he had given those boundaries, but he wanted to have those fielders where they're always on your face, at your face. I think this last session, that's what they were missing. The last session is the last day.
Last day. All right, gentlemen. We are 39 minutes into the show. Before we wrap, let's talk
I
about
guess
the
we can go on.
we can go on and on. We've got all the time and all the energy for today. But your moment of this series. Rajshri, let's start with you. The moment that took your breath
I
away.
think for me, it's that instance of that Rahane Jadeja partnership, at Melbourne, because we were down in the dumps of 36 all out again. That kept resonating, and both Deep, Pragya, and Boria, we all said that that was a one-off. It was just that one bad session of a test match we dominated, but still it sort of kept rankling, right? And how India would fight back. Virat Kohli just returned home. We were without a few of our other stalwarts. Rohit Sharma wasn't playing that test match. But for me, just that partnership and the way it developed and the way it fought, and the moment I saw Aussie shoulders drooping, it happens very quickly with the Australians. When you don't give them wickets, when you keep batting, their shoulders droop very quickly. And I thought that was the moment when I realized that this Indian team is here to make a statement, and what a statement they made at the end of the day. For me, that was that moment in Melbourne.
For you, Deep sir?
I know there are too many of them. I mean, there are too many of them. And truly, truly, if I was just thinking, who would you give the man of the match to for this game? And I was thinking about it. I was like, can all 11 or the whole team get a man of the match for this? Because I couldn't think of one individual who stood out. And like, for example, Pujara last series, right? India won the series. Pujara, with that kind of performance stood out. But when you look at this series, you're like, dude, everyone's contributed. Everyone's contributed. So I don't know whether this could be one, but the recent one that I saw and I really loved it was, I think I saw it on I think BCCI's webpage or something. Siraj was coming out with this fifer, and one of the first guys to give him a hug was Jasprit Bumrah. I mean, and the smile on Bumrah's face was like, God, and you could feel that. You could feel that camaraderie. You could feel that family. And that was heartening to see.
Yes, indeed. I saw that and I was like, wow, that smile on Bumrah's face, I think that made my day. What about you, Boria? Your moment of the series?
Deep and I are brothers for that reason. I was exactly about to say that, but I have more to that. I mean, just a few frames back to that, what exactly transpired? What transpired was the last Australian wicket, Mohammad Siraj. Who does the catch go to? Shardul Thakur. What is his reaction? Absolute exultation, Shardul Thakur. And then, who walking Mohammad Siraj out just behind Mohammad Siraj? Shardul Thakur. So, and then Jasprit Bumrah hugs and says, Mia, well done, or whatever that was. So, Mohammad Siraj showing that ball to the world and obviously to his father up there, who is clearly smiling at him and ushering blessings for what he has achieved. Jasprit Bumrah, the big brother, the leader, giving him that hug, and behind him, like a general who has commanded respect, this game walks Shardul Thakur. That, for me, summed up the Indian cricket team. You know what? Good deeds and karma work for you. Mohammad Siraj did not come back to this country even when he knew he might not play a test match. Even when he knew he was a part of the squad, not the first 11, after losing his dad. Karma, box ticked. Shardul Thakur, for all the courage that he showed in that first innings, box ticked. And then obviously Jasprit Bumrah for having done what he's done for Indian cricket. 1, 2, 3 frames sums it up. And the second moment for me was Rohit Sharma and Ajinkya Rahane watching, and Rohit Sharma smiling, being the usual Rohit Sharma, and Ajinkya Rahane tense without even smiling. Tells you about the captain and the vice captain and why this team gels, because this team is a team in the true sense of the word. They play for one entity, and that entity is called India.
And I quickly add to that piece. The highest wicket taker is Mohammad Siraj, and the highest run getter is
Shubman
Gill. Right? And that just tells you, I told you, this series also the sneak preview of what the Indian team might look, or the nucleus of the Indian team.
How many did Rishabh Pant get eventually? Did he not get more than Gill?
No, I don't think so.
Because he played a 74 innings than him. We'll have to check that, but yeah, it could be
because could be close.
Yeah, I mean, okay, let's say highest and second highest run getters. Let's put it this way, whoever it is. So it's Shubman Gill and Rishabh Pant. That's your nucleus. That's your future there.
Right there. All right.
And by the way, Shubman Gill and Rishabh Pant, your two highest scorers of this particular innings. Now, there's no debate there. 91 and what? 90? That's
So
the new
Pant
India
got
speaking.
89.
Yeah, whatever.
Pant got
So
89.
Shubman
There
Gill,
was
Gill got
same
91.
89.
So
91.
91 and 89 and whatever it is, valued at 289 and 290. That's the new India, right? That is the new India speaking out to the world. You dare us, we'll come and give it back to you in your backyard. You give us a Brisbane, you give us quarantine, you give us racist insult, you give all of that. Trust you me, we'll pack it, as Ashwin's wife says, jeera rice and egg bhujji and serve it to Tim Payne for dinner tonight.
That was the monologue for Test Part 2 coming up on your screens very soon. Pragyan, your moment of the series.
My moment of the series is Ajinkya Rahane's 100.
Yeah.
That defined everything. As a leader of the pack, when you make that kind of statement, then I think everybody understands what is the importance of this test series and why it is. Because the regular leader has gone back and we have lost so many people. But after that, when someone is leading and he's leading from the front, that's how it is. So that was the moment of the test series for me. After that, everything followed. Because
Very good
till
point,
then,
Pragyan.
it was we had lost, we had that 36 all out, but then everything changed. Everything.
Good
That's
point,
very
Pragyan.
true. Very good point. In
Ridhima,
fact,
and everything, the support staff. Make how many memes you want of Ravi Shastri. Give the man his due. Make as many memes you want and tweet and whatever and that joke about Pant and whatever you want to do. But give the devil his due. When Deep was with me that day when Saurabh and I were doing inspiration at Saurabh's house, and he said, you know what, I've spoken to Virat. We need to win this test series, and we can play that clip in one of our shows. And I was like, Smith and Warner back, winning another test series in Australia. You know what, really? And this is a different India. This is, trust you me, a different India. Deep said this point, Pragyan said this point. I would sum it up in one sentence. And the sentence is, we had no fear of failure. Australia from day one of that MCG test, after India turned it around, was always plagued by fear of failure. And that defined their performance today. Fear of failure. Anyone who has fear of failure at this level will eventually fail it.
nice.
Okay,
Very
Ridhima,
nice.
just to answer the Deep and Goria's question on the highest run scorer, a great blend of youth and experience. Rishabh Pant 274, highest for India. Pujara 271. Rahane 268. Shubman Gill 259. So you have these two young Turks matching run by run and stroke for stroke with the two veterans in the team, the two legends in the team. Absolutely great to see this.
Yeah, the numbers are laid down. One last question, gentlemen, before we close the show, because we did mention Rahane and he deserves a mention again. We got a question by John Wright. He's asking all experts, how much do you rate Ajinkya's resilience, Rahane's captaincy? Do you think tactics-wise, he's the best and he made all the players as a go-to person? He broke 33 years Aussie Gower record. Your take on that? Whatever you can start.
I can start, but if this is going to that direction where now, challenge Virat, for God's sake, don't do this. For God's sake, don't do this. Ajinkya Rahane as captain, extraordinarily good. Celebrate Ajju. He's a great guy, a tremendous human being, a fantastic leader. So celebrate Ajinkya Rahane, give him his due. But this team remains Virat Kohli's team. And I don't know if I should say it. I was speaking to Virat Kohli day before evening, and I said to him, Virat, last day when the team walks out at the Gabba, what could I do to see you step out with the bat? And he said, this team will do it. Watch and see, this team will do it. For the last 5-6 years, we have waited for this moment. We have created this team to love Test cricket and make a statement in Test cricket. This team will do it. It remains Virat Kohli's team. Ajinkya Rahane, spectacular leader, but Virat, Rohit, Ajinkya all together in that dressing room along with the Pujara, Gill, and Rishabh Pant, Bumrah, and the rest of the boys. Boy, you me. England can't wait for you. And by the way, selection today at 5 p.m. So we'll break everything on Sports Today. The 2 test matches for England, team selection today at 5 p.m. by the new selection committee under Chetan Sharma.
Superb. Deep sir, closing comments?
For Ajinkya, I think he's always been a good leader, right? And what we said was we need leaders. I think what you will see is Virat coming back, and obviously, as Surya mentioned, for me, it's a non-starter of an argument. I mean, it's not debatable at all. But what I would like to say is when Virat comes back, I would like to see Virat 2.0 and adapt what this team's been doing. I don't know what they've been doing for the last three test matches, but whatever they've been doing, it's going well. So I would like to see Virat come and adapt things that Ajinkya has already introduced into this team in the last three test matches, and just move on. I think Team India would be better for this experience. You already have Virat and what he's done. He's one guy who's made. I mean, under him, Team India was world number one for last 3 years now, almost. I mean, before this whole new system came in. I mean, so that's not a debatable thing for me, at least. Not now, for sure. And then I just hope that he adapts to this new system, or and move on with all these new leaders that have come up.
Ridhima, before you give Pragyan the last word as statman, Rajashi, what's the World Test Championship ranking like? Where is India? How many do we need?
India's gone on top. India's gone on
He
top.
said that.
So how many do we need against England? Give me that. I mean, what is our percentile? How many do we need?
Yeah.
Deep or Rajashi, whoever?
Deep
Go on, Raj.
No, India will have to win the three of those 4 test matches from here on. Deep, correct me if I'm wrong, because
Do we still need 3?
I don't think, Rashi, as of now, sorry, I'll just come in.
Yeah.
If England goes on, all depends on England-Sri Lanka test match. There's one more test match that England will play versus Sri Lanka. So it is still kind of grey. So we can only talk about it once England has played its finishes test matches in Sri Lanka, then Australia, in South Africa. So it's pretty close because it's percentages. It's not absolute numbers, right?
Absolutely.
So India would still have to win at least 2 test matches.
Yeah.
And because England is also in the fray, so that will make it a lot more trickier, because India, if it had been any other series and England wasn't in the race, then maybe 2 would have been safe. But because England too is part of the race, so that makes it that much more tricky. So
no, Deep, why I said 3 test matches is assuming Australia's tour of South Africa is going on, right? Because if Australia's tour of South Africa does not go on, then you're right, with 2 test matches, we are safer in that proposition. But remember, New Zealand have also come up to number 2. Irrespective of what the 3 results would have been today, New Zealand have also gained a point. So
okay, so let's get this clarified. Let's get this clarified, because we need to give the exact details to Sports Today. But for the moment, what I will say before Pragyan obviously comments is Lasith Embuldenia is our man for the next test match. We are all going to back him. And if Australia does go to South Africa, we will back Anrique Nokia full steam. That's what we will do on Sports Today.
Whoa, we were right. Pragyan, how would you sum up the series?
Brilliant. Ajinkya Rahane, great leader. The way he handled the team, the management, superbly. They were not panicking. The way they took care of everybody, the way they addressed all the concerns, brilliant. End of the day, as Boryada said, he had a word with Virat, and Virat said, for past 5 years they have been waiting for this day. That means they were preparing this team. It is not 1 series or 2 series. It is 5 to 6 years that they have put in. So it's clearly Virat Kohli and the team management that they have worked so hard. Today we are getting to see the result. That's as simple as that. It's Virat Kohli's team, and we are fortunate enough to have 3 great leaders: Ajinkya Rahane, Virat Kohli, and Rohit Sharma. These 3 will make sure the Indian team goes up ahead and becomes one of the best teams ever.
Those places. Rajashri, can you tell me a Bengali sweet that I should try today?
Try the langcha. Try the hot langcha with the mishti. If I was in Calcutta, if I was visiting Boria's museum, that's the one dish I'd be asking him to set it up for me. And it's long due, I believe.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you. I don't know what it means, but I will try.
Don't ask me. Don't ask. Close the show.
Okay. Okay, done. But thank you so much, gentlemen. Thanks a lot. What can I say? Gaba Falls is an India series win 2-1. And with that, for us, I'm going to just try and put it in the most poetic way possible because this is a very poetic day for India. I'm sure you guys have started liking us by now. I'm pretty sure it wasn't love at first sight, but give it some time, we will fall in love. 5 at 5 with Boria and plenty more content coming on Sports Today. Thank you for joining.